Almost a year ago, he was ordered to apologize for his comments regarding the Israeli-Palestine conflict. In 2020, former Chief Justice Mogoeng commented that he was under no obligation as a Christian to love Israel and pray for peace in Jerusalem during a webinar with the Jerusalem Post.
I give is in Psalm 122 verse 6, which says, 122 verse 6, which says, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They shall prosper that love thee. And 3, also Genesis 12 verses 1 to 3, that says to me as a Christian, that if I curse Abraham and Israel, God, the Almighty God, will curse me too. So I'm under an obligation as a Christian to love Israel, to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, which actually means the peace of Israel. And I cannot, as a Christian, do anything other than love and pray for Israel, because I know hatred for Israel by me and for my nation can only attract unprecedented curses upon our nation.
In his response to the demand for apology last year, Justice Mogoeng said he would rather relinquish his position as Chief Justice at the time than apologize for his remarks. I respect the law and I will not defy the law. But if it comes to a point where I am forced to do the abominable or I am forced to reject God, then I would rather be without money, be without any position. I will never refuse to obey the Lord. If I am to get to a point where there is a judgment that says you must say you hate Israel and the Jews, I would rather cease to be a Chief Justice. If I get to a point where they say, Mogoeng, you must say you hate Palestine, I would rather cease to be a Chief Justice than to do it, because my God has instructed me to love and not to hate. The matter was referred to the Judicial Conduct Committee to investigate. The Judicial Conduct Appeals Committee on Thursday published its decision on the appeal by the former Chief Justice on the complaints by Africa for Palestine, SABDS Coalition, and the Women's Cultural Group. In its media statement, the JCC said, pursuant of this decision, the committee, by a majority, directed that Chief Justice Mogoeng should issue an unconditional apology for becoming involved in political controversy through his utterances online seminar hosted by the Jerusalem Post on 23 June 2020. A copy of the apology must be released by Chief Justice Mogoeng to the office of the Chief Justice and the media within 10 days of this decision, unquote. The statement further said, Judge Victor, the third member of the Judicial Conduct Appeals Committee, penned a minority decision in which she would have upheld the appeal in its entirety, setting aside the findings of the Mujapilo DJP and the remedial action that flowed therefrom. Well, it remains to be seen if the former Chief Justice will render the unconditional apology as opposed to his faith of loving, as he puts it, the children of God equally.
The Chief Justice was invited in that webinar by the Jerusalem Post in his capacity as the Chief Justice of South Africa. He was not invited as an ordinary citizen, and even if you were invited as an ordinary citizen, you cannot say there is no separation between himself as an ordinary citizen and as a Chief Justice. So any comments that he made during that webinar, he made those comments, although he stated that they were not in his capacity as a Chief Justice, but he was invited there as the Chief Justice. So any comments that he made those comments as the Chief Justice. And then you must also note that judges, although everyone is entitled to freedom of speech and personal views, they are judges. They hold a very important office. And the Chief Justice holds a very important office. He's the head of the judiciary. He's the head of the Constitutional Court. And he is responsible to ensure that, obviously, the judiciary runs smoothly. But any comments that he makes cannot be separated from the fact that he holds the office of the Chief Justice.